Hey guys, Scott here. I left my heating mask on my face too long and I literally branded myself with the heating element, so I look very cool. Today I wanted to go over my favorite anti-tunnel build in the game. I think this is actually the best anti-tunnel build in the entire game, at least as of right now. Now, when you think of anti-tunneling perks, you think of like off the record, borrowed time, decisive strike, all that stuff. But the thing is, as time has gone on, killers have really kind of learned that most of those perks don't really do anything. If you have, every single layer of off the hook protection that you could possibly have, it's all pretty much negated by the killer just hitting you off the hook. Doesn't matter what, if you have dead hard, if you have borrowed time or off the record, any of these perks, it doesn't matter. Because as soon as the killer puts you into deep wound, all those perks are canceled out. So the difference between having these perks and not having them is there really isn't much of one anymore. If the killer's trying to tunnel you out, that's what's going to happen. So this build allows you to circumvent all of that stuff. I still think Decisive Strike is still pretty damn weak, unless you go down in an absolutely perfect area, which you might not have access to, depending on where you're hooked. This is the only, surefire, almost guaranteed way to escape tunneling, or at the very least, make the tunneling take a lot longer for the killer. So here's the scenario. You're unhooked by somebody. I've just been unhooked right here. Now, when you're unhooked, obviously there's a teammate that unhooked you nearby. If the killer's tunneling, he's going to come right back to the hook, or he might even be straight up at the hook. This is fine. So the correct play here is if you're getting tunneled, run to a pallet and plot twist. Now, the killer can't immediately pick you up because someone just saved you 3 seconds ago. So obviously there's a teammate right here. He knows he can't pick up on the pallet. It's not safe. So that's a losing scenario there. But if the killer leaves you on the ground, that's also a losing scenario because now you can just plot twist yourself back up and you pick yourself up back at full health. And that's probably an even worse place to be at. So if he leaves me on the ground, I pick myself up. If he immediately picks me up, my teammate saves me. If he chases the teammate away, it gives me time to recover for flip-flop, and that will enable me to use power struggle as soon as the killer picks me up, so then I'm just able to save myself. Every single scenario that the killer has, it's a lose for him, only if he's trying to tunnel. If he's not tunneling, this build doesn't do much unless you're playing with a group or something like that. But if you are, getting, severely tunneled, this build completely counters every single option they have. Now, I will say the one downside is if the person that saves you is like a rank 20 meg or something. If it's like a rank 20 meg, then sure, they might fuck up the pallet save timing, and the killer has to know that a rank 20 meg saved you and knows that they're going to miss up the pallet save. Sure. Solo queue is a madhouse. Yes, they're not going to hit it every time. I'm just saying this is the most reliable form of anti-tunneling because it leaves the killer with no correct option. Every option that they take is it's a disadvantage for the killer. So, additionally, I like throwing on dead hard here as well because if they do not allow you to fully plot twist and heal, because that's the worst case scenario, you just get a power struggle and a stun. Now you've delayed that entire time, which is wasting the killer's time. Then you stun the killer. Then you start another chase. And now you have dead hard for that tunneling. And so that gives you another hit, which it's like basically, yes, the killer can still eventually down you if you're in an endgame scenario. Or if you're not in an endgame scenario. But it makes them take so much longer to do it that it'll pretty much give your team the win. I'm not saying this will completely stop you from dying from tunneling. I will say this is the worst thing that can happen for the killer while, they're trying to tunnel. So try this build out. I originally threw it on because it's just a fun combination of perks. If you're playing with even just one friend, it's a free escape every time. There's nothing the killer can do. It's a lose-lose no matter what. The only variable is, whether or not the teammate's going to be able to hit that save or not. Because within the 10 seconds of borrowed time, you'll be able to find a pallet, unless the entire map has been used up, in which case, well, you guys are fucked anyway. But that's it. That is the best anti-tunnel perk in the game. I will not be taking further questions. Try it out if you're getting tunneled. It's better than off the record, decisive strike, all this stuff. It is really, really good.